Thank you very much for the audience that are coming here to hear this follow-up conversation after the science and spirituality meeting that we had recently. And I'm very honored to have this opportunity to continue this conversation with you, Prashant, and in a more kind of a casual, more way, and maybe reveal interesting new things that we have to that we can share with people. And actually, I can tell you something that you didn't know. I learned that you are from Cambridge, yeah?
Yes.
So I've been kind of your neighbor for 7 years. I did my PhD in Oxford, so not so far from you. And for me, Cambridge was always the university, but now it has also kind of a spiritual aura. So it's nice. So how have you been doing?
Very, very good. Very nice. It is cold and rain in Cambridge at the moment, and but it is pleasant. It is a nice change.
Good, excellent. So maybe it's a good opportunity to say in a few words or remind people that where we come from, or something like that.
Yes. You want to start with you first?
Okay, I can do that. So I come from the Hebrew University, and I run a microscopy unit. It's in a core facility in the Faculty of Agriculture. And what it actually allows me is to look at the nano and the micro world of our nature. So we are looking at cells and of plants and insects and bacteria. And actually, it looks very, very beautiful. The structures, the geometrical structures that we see are amazing. For me, it's like the art of nature. And also, I have the opportunity in this work to work with students. And when you come to take images in the microscope, so microscope room is darkened, and you sit many hours quietly watching at the screen. And then students, it's like a psychology couch. They start to talk about their problems and difficulties. So I think these are the moments where I can convey my more spiritual side. So it's actually a nice way to intertwine this thing.
Yeah, so nice to hear.
Yeah, actually, Prashant, if we're talking about that, so I will let you say what you wanted, but after, if you could also mention that I heard in the conference that you've been a physician, an MD. So I was wondering, how did this transition to what you do now actually happened?
Yeah, sure. So, even as I was doing my medical studies, I was interested in the spiritual side. So this is from the age of 18. And then you automatically attract the right kind of people. So amongst hundreds of students in the college, I was friend with few who were also very spiritually inclined. And then as the medical studies continued, post-graduation, when I finished my final exam, then I felt now is a good time. I don't have the pressure of exams, that I can apply myself and study more, do proper research and know more about spiritual, worlds. And this was in 1982. 1982, so more than 40 years ago. So this is the time I came across the university, spiritual university. And I was in Manchester at that time, but then we visit India, meet the teacher, and that is. But then you are understanding the knowledge and the structure of your study and practices. What in time, this happened after say a few years. What I was deeply looking for, I felt that is exactly what I discovered. I did not feel that on the first day, but after a few years. What I was looking for was a spirituality that addresses the world problems, and deep inside I felt it is possible. I also saw the limitations of science or a medical world. It can do certain level, but there are limitations there. And I said, ultimate knowledge is spiritual. That this is the way I was in my concept.
Mm-hmm.
But as time progressed, I was see myself very lucky to discover something that was appropriate to my needs. And then it is an ongoing journey. You are making this spiritual effort. There are disciplines and creating time for oneself. The transition, and I would say I was never really seeing my medical career as a career. It was just there as to support my spiritual. Even before coming across the spiritual university, I saw it as a temporary thing. And then I still continue with the medical world, but it is like a secondary thing for me. It supports, it sort of takes care of the livelihood sort of thing. That is the way. I do not see it as a real means to eradicate suffering of the world. In fact, I think we do not go to the root cause at our present level, and the root cause of pain, suffering, illness is much deeper at a non-physical level. And our present science structures cannot reach there.
Mm-hmm. So were you practicing this with patients, also asking deeper questions and trying to find this root cause and help them in kind of both ways?
Yes, and there is that going on, but it's the real level where this works is the community. Our whole human community, they are all potential patients, you can say. And
nice.
And there is one is the physical problems, but there is a life. We can be far more happier and fortunate and more in harmony with the world. And some human beings are, the potential of human beings is very, very high. And we are not experiencing our own potential. Illness is another level of it, but so the real work of ours is everyday human beings.
So can you give an example for, let's say, an illness or some kind of maybe example that you've encountered, or you can give example of something that we can look at the deep cause of it and understand what's lying underneath? It's just interesting to see how you analyze it, even in a global society way.
Yeah. Like a simple example, if I'm getting pain and then I may have to see if there is a wrong posture. If the posture is wrong, then you get if you change the posture, pain subsides. It's just a simple, just I'm changing this arrangement. So in the same way, what happens here, our inner posture, posture of the mind, we because it is subtle, not many people pay attention to that posture of the mind. And as that posture of the mind goes in a wrong place, that invites pain. And this pain comes in the form of emotional pain. It comes in the form of misfortunes in a different level. And so the attention is on the right consciousness. And more detailed understanding of that, that exists.
I feel that you're speaking in codes. So what do you mean that when you change the posture of your mind or change the way you think? Can you give example of that as well? So it will be more, I'm a practical person, so I have to feel like a tangible example.
It sometimes, because these are abstract and may need more time to grasp it, but I will give a small example. Say if I am a guest in someone's house, then I behave like a guest, I act like a guest, and then the natural response of human beings, we all like guests. I have seen this in different countries, different societies. Everyone likes guests. The people, they want to show the guests something nice in their place. They want to prepare something nice. Hospitality is a very happy instinct in human beings. But imagine, as a guest comes to your house and you want to be hospitable, very nice. But if after some days you realize that this guest is not talking about going, has forgotten that he has to go. He's claiming that this is my room, don't touch this room, don't come here, don't touch this, and claiming things in your room, your hospitality will become less.
Yes.
No. Exactly the same thing happens with us. We have come on this planet as guests. We are not from here. We have an exit. There is guaranteed exit. We are temporarily here. But whilst we are here, we keep postponing our exit. And we don't want to hear that we have forgotten even that we got an exit. And we are busy, fully busy to claim things and put a label, my to things, to fight for this. Now, the nature sees this as wrong posture at a consciousness level. And just like the human response is the hospitality becomes less, maybe the hostility comes in and they might say, you go, In the same way, nature wants to punish us because we are in a wrong posture. The same forces, that comes to human beings, the same forces are coming through matter, through nature.
Yeah, I believe that as well.
Yeah. So the very good method here is change the posture. Even with nature, like nature and matter, why there are natural calamities. And if we want to address them in a spiritual way, we change the posture collectively. We take the posture, position. We are guests here, and we deal with everything as a guest. means I don't own a single atom here. We use the term soul consciousness for this. Yes? So the invisible guest, invisible traveler is saying, I'm involved here. It is great. All this world of molecules and atoms, it is great, including the body, but I don't own one atom here. At most, I'm a trustee. And everything is a gift for me. Every moment is a gift. I appreciate it. I appreciate this moment. I appreciate being in this gathering, but I'm a guest. And so there are no demands, no claims, no entitlements. That is the posture. You come in that space. And then you will find nature will come to, to celebrate. Nature will welcome. Nature will come to be more hospitable.
Actually, sorry, Prashant, I want to ask something about that because, again, I'm thinking in a practical way. It sounds to me like the practices that I like doing, like meditation, breathing, going in nature, these are the ways to maybe clear the mind in order to have because you say change the posture, but you need to know to what or how to think differently. And you need to be in a kind of a clear state of mind to see through this reality that we live in. And we many times you have to bring yourself to a quiet state to see these things, unless you have somebody like you or somebody else to reflect these things to you. As an everyday person, you might not even be aware or see beyond what there is to see in front of your eyes. So are you doing such practices? I guess you do.
Yeah. Meditation is important part of this, but then the meditation moves to another level. There may be, at one time there was emphasis on other things, but now you are able to come more directly into the soul conscious space, and then there is a concentration is required to stay in a certain experience for a time, and then it is enjoyable, it is fun. Speaking of that inner posture, one is to come in the inner posture, but stay in that inner posture. That needs concentration.
Okay, I feel that these things that you're talking about, did you learn them, or did you have like some enlightened moment that it came to you, or how did it come along, these ideas?
Yes, we got a structure, and a structure of learning, regular learning, and also the meditation practice as a discipline every day. And what we are learning, these are like ideas. It's a revealed knowledge. Means that it is not coming from the scriptures. It is not coming from but it is a revealed knowledge. There is more detailed about it, but these are the things we receive. We read them every day in a gathering, collectively, in a small gathering in different cities. We meet, we read, study, and then it gives the raw material for our reflection. And it is nice. Every day there are certain thoughts, you think about it. Some of these things are such common sense, But yes, but some of them are radical and new area, new ideas, new areas, and collectively every day it is drop. It is then adding to your other experiences. It creates refinement. It is a nice process of that. So that is the raw material. But based on that, we reflect, we discuss, and it is like, from the cream, then we have the option to create butter from that.
Good. Actually, I went, or I came to know the spiritual world, if you can say, or the consciousness and everything quite recently. So most of my life were in the academic side. And I find that it is a question that sort of went through my mind, that maybe it's a good opportunity to ask you, because I didn't really have anybody else to ask that. Many times with students, when we sit by the microscopes, then they convey their problems and things like that. And one of the things that most of them talk about is the difficulty of how to solve problems, or how to get new ideas if their research is stuck, or if they have to find, and not just in science, also in their everyday life, to be innovative. And also if it's researchers for writing grants and things like that. So for me, it's more really taking the spirituality to the practical everyday life of a scientist. And something I was wondering about is, how can you bring yourself to a state of mind to let the new ideas, innovative ideas, come through you? Would it be moments of enlightenment? Is there something else that we could do to be more, prone to have those? And even, where do these ideas come from? So I think you're the right person to ask.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there are two things. One is our life situation and challenges and difficulties that come, how to deal with it. And for this, big help is if we are able to see the bigger map. Just like, say, someone is in a maze, you don't know how to come out. If I see the bigger map, then you see the shortcuts and you see what are the answers. We lose the answers when we cannot see the bigger map. We get caught into small things. And like, for example, just a very good example. And there is an elephant. And if someone can only see the tail of the elephant, cannot see the elephant, then he will not be a good person to help the elephant. So in our life also, in our present, the way the world is seeing, we see this in a narrow perspective of world and life, our own life. And there are no answers in that. Like, everyone in this world leading a life of a failure, and they die as a failure. They work and collecting, and then they say, I lost it all. So this is the story of present civilization culture. One hand, we are sort of having amazing research and technology. We think we are very advanced, but on the other hand, we are going in opposite direction in our intellect. But if we see the bigger map, then we see the elephant, and that itself is an amazing, relaxing experience. It is like you understood the secret. It is not just a tail. There is an elephant. It is, you know what
It's
you
like
are
seeing
doing.
the bigger picture.
Yeah, yeah. It's exactly same thing happens with our life. When we see our own bigger map, it becomes like amazing, a wonder. And within that, there are what we thought is a problem is not a problem anymore. Within that, there are very clear. In fact, there is like a day and night. There's a difference between someone just sees the tail and he sees the elephant. There's a huge difference. Until then, he is wasting his time just dealing with the tail. Something like that. When we see the big map, you understand life, you understand who you are, you understand what is really right for the world, and then what was new parameters. With these new parameters, new factors, you may think something has to be done, but they are based upon the new perspective. So that is connected with the first part of your question, how to deal with our life, and and your students, better questions come. Now, ideas. I am of the opinion that everyone is very creative. Every human being. We have lots of creative ideas. But in the mind's present day mind, where we have got some 80%, 90% cyclical thoughts. This is what some universities are telling. Our cyclical thoughts. We think the same thing over and over again with some passion. As if it is a major thing we have to solve, this kind of thing. Often it is insignificant things, but we are caught with these cyclical thoughts. Now these cyclical thoughts bounce out these creative thoughts. Like say I get a new idea, and then suddenly I'm coming back to my cyclical thought. Think about a cat, and then this new idea, it is gone. There is no time to even make a note of it myself, leave aside writing it down or something. So if these cyclical thoughts stop, or if we reduce them somehow, then we will be very, very effective. Already, even instead of these 80% cyclical thoughts, if we bring them to 70%, we will give chance to our creative ideas to go to the next level, at least, where we notice them and where we sort of, assess them and see the relevance. And another area for creative ideas is to have an environment of people who are generating ideas. It is.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have people like that, and I absolutely love that environment. They speak, these people speak, but they speak immensely sensible thing and random, there are random ideas, but they are, for me, they are precious, almost I would record them. And some of them become the basis of the, some project even sometimes. It becomes the basis, taking them further. Creating the environment, where there are, like say someone is in chemistry and someone in physics, someone in biology.
Yeah.
This,
mixing groups.
Yes. Multi background, multidisciplinary approach. So
Yes.
when people come with these different ideas, what they are doing. And silently, it has happened to me. We have some workshop and some people are, we create a gathering and they are talking. And I'm sitting at a corner just listening to what they are talking. And I get ideas, not
Yes.
necessarily based on what they are saying, but just what could be, based.
Yeah.
It just creates the environment of
Amazing.
creative thinking. Yeah.
So I think after listening to all what you said now, I would like to share with you exactly things that are touching on those things that you said that I can see in my line of work, and also it brings me also for my kind of future plans. It's all in the answer that you gave here. One of the things is that when a person comes to me, or researcher or student come with some scientific question, and they want to use, a particular microscope, for example. I work with light microscopes, electron microscopes, different modalities, and they have a fixed mind of the way that it should be done. And now, using your words, looking at the bigger map, because I can see all of the instruments, all of the modalities, all of the possibilities that may give him a better answer or a wholer answer than to the scientific question than what he was originally coming with. So looking at this bigger map, I can suggest a different way of going about answering his scientific question. And so it's nice to see that the practice that I do every day has some kind of sensible, more that you can take also to your, it's not necessarily spiritual, it's just more conscious awareness of that you can incorporate in life, not to look only at your single problem and look at the larger picture, and then get new ideas, either how to deal with it or to change the course of your life according to that. And in my science is to change, the first perception that person came with, and give in the end a better and fuller answer to a scientific question. Another thing, when we talked about ideas, and so I'd like to do a self-research of the combination of this science and spirituality. I come from the science, but I see the spirit as it's not a different subject. It's intertwined. It's just a different point of view. And in terms of ideas to this research or this being in a moment of getting this idea. So I want to tell you something interesting, enlightened moment that happened to me in the lab when I was on my own looking. In this case, it was an electron microscope that I was looking at. Unfortunately, I'm at home today, so I cannot show you any pictures, but you can imagine a beautiful geometric pattern of, let's say, a pollen grain. It has very beautiful structures, and I was taking the images because it was somebody's project that had to be recorded. And then I had an inner voice in my heart or in my mind telling me, look beyond what the structure that you see. And I didn't understand at the moment, in that moment, what exactly it means. But I'm kind of used to practicing in listening to the voices that comes through, because always it takes you to amazing places. So I'm looking like in a blurry vision at this beautiful structure. And then I started to, the form kind of disintegrated. And they said, don't close your eyes, because close my eyes, I fly to different realms. stay with your eyes open. So I was still blaring at this image. And then I felt some sensation in my body, in my stomach, in my shoulder. And I was enjoying the experience. And then this voice said that you can look at these geometric patterns that come from nature not just as a structure, that it's like a code, a code from nature, from life, that your body, or not the physical body, the different layers, you have the conscious body or astral body or emotional body. These other levels of body, they recognize this pattern as a code. And it actually invokes area in your body that needs your attention. And also it starts some kind of healing for you. So you can even imagine this structure. They said, you can close your eyes, imagine this structure coming into life, going inside of your body and to the place where you saw it, and let it do the work. It's like a nanostructure that goes inside of your body in an energetic way and starts to heal you. So this was for me like a wow moment, and it happened not so long ago. So I think this is something that I would like to explore with more and more structures, and also to not just for me it works, and I tried it also on some other people from the community, the spiritual community, still not with students, but it works and everybody sees something different. I put an image in the conference that we had in the rooms. I put such a picture and I asked people to stare at it and then tell me what they feel. And each one felt it some felt exactly the same, which was interesting in a research point of view to see if there's something, if that particular pattern evokes something similar to all. But some saw something completely different, and some had good feeling and some had a bad feeling. So for me, it's like an innovative idea, something to research that I don't know where it will go. But the idea of having a nature conversing with us, like having a natural remedy in front of our eyes, and that nature is telling us, just look at us, and we will work with you to heal you. So this kind of is like you said, to look at the things in different way, in different posture, in different perspective. And also this brings me to the next thing that I would like to do when you talked about being in the right state to clear your mind from these cyclical thoughts, to let the good thought or new thoughts come. I thought of really starting with a group of students to try this out, whether it will be with meditation or breathing, or even letting them to be aware of such practices or perspectives like you were talking about today, and to try and see how it reflects in their academic lives. So it is something that where the science that I'm in, the academic place where I'm in, together with a larger perspective or connecting to your inner self and higher self, how I would really want to combine these things with academia, because right now, you have either this very, very with your mind, and something else is completely not related to us, don't talk to us about it, and it's not that. And this is something I feel it's like a mission I would like to bring to my university. So I wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, so nice. I might say, that this aspect of cyclical thought, and we know, imagine some traffic in your city, if even few cars were going in a circle, going around a block, just going around a block, and nothing else, they are wasting their time, but they are also creating problem to the city, because it is like another, obstacle for other traffic. It can create a gridlock. Few cars going in a circle, it can create a gridlock to the rest of the city. Exactly the same thing happens, in our inner system, the cyclical thoughts. So in 80% cyclical thoughts, it is a huge thing. The simple method to come out of this is to take on a very neutral thought, a neutral image. This is the principle of meditation. So you can think of some, can be a horse, it can be anything. And for 1 minute, just to think of the horse. And I'm just giving this example, but it can be, we can use this time, in more spiritual benefit at other level. But let us say the horse, you are thinking of the horse, but holding the thought, one thought for a continuous period of 1 minute. And all that you have done during this minute, there are no other thoughts.
Focus.
No cyclical thoughts. And no random thoughts. And what is observed is that not just 1 minute, the next 20 minutes, the cyclical thoughts will be less. They then gather the momentum again after a while, but you notice that there is you notice the difference in yourselves, because just this exhaustion in the deeper exhaustion that is going on, that is stopped. The cyclical thoughts are often of a negative nature, because if there is something going wrong in one's life, one tends to think of that thing more than all the 10 things going right in your life. Yes, so this is exactly what happens in but even the good thoughts or bad thoughts, the cyclical thoughts, you stop them for 1 minute and the pattern changes. And one will notice he is more efficient in whatever he's doing. Because even if he's playing sport, he'll be more efficient, because now the mind-brain apparatus is more efficient.
Yes.
This change is noticed even when they are observing, the level of epinephrine in the synapse in the brain. And someone practices, like in Harvard University Mind-Brain Institute, and they ask the subjects to practice something of this kind, for 4 minutes, and observe various things, and that includes epinephrine level within the synapses in the brain. And what they observe, that the epinephrine level drops and remains low longer, in some cases as long as 90 minutes. So
Amazing.
the benefits are longer, but more interesting is it changes the pattern. So any good habits, bad habits start somewhere. So you create a cyclical pattern, it just continues. One girl said to me, I have been thinking of the same thing for last 14 years. To be free from this. So because it is, we find ourselves in a rut or something like this. So simple things can be introduced, and there
Excellent.
are benefits.
Yes, it's excellent. Also, excellent idea to, with students is to bring really scientific proof of that is not just the ideas. You have really scientific proofs in hormones or other molecules like you suggest you were talking about now. So I think for me it's a very good starting point to see how I'm going to structure this course that I'm going to do. And I think in terms of time, we are kind of up with our time. So I want to thank you again for this beautiful, beautiful opportunity to have this conversation today. And hopefully we will meet someday.
Yes, of course. Appreciate. Thank you for inviting.
And yes, and thank you to Yael for this whole operation, which brings beautiful people together. So thank you very much.
Pleasure.